Yeah, that's right. I'm sitting back down. Long story, not important. We're here to talk about Minecraft. Or should I say, a Minecraft movie. All right, everybody. I saw the A Minecraft movie, and I don't have a lot of thoughts, but I will say this. It is already the movie that I've seen this year where my major thought is I think the critics are being a little harsh for no particular reason. Don't get me wrong, a Minecraft movie is not some great work of art, but like, why are we tearing apart a children's movie? No, I mean that seriously. A Minecraft movie is a children's movie. Like, straight up. The way it's made, the way it's designed, it is a movie for children. And children seem to love it. When I saw a Minecraft movie, the theater that was full of children and their parents applauded when the movie ended. And it almost tricked me into applauding too. That's right, people clapped for this movie. The audience of children and adults that saw this movie around me liked it. And I have to say, I went in with really low expectations, and going in with low expectations was the right move. Now, I don't know what it is about video game movie adaptations. Sure, we seem to have some success when it comes to television. We've got The Last of Us and we've got Twisted Metal, which are both TV shows that actually work surprisingly well, or at least are entertaining. But when it comes to movies, most of the best video game movies are for children. No, stop. Let's think about it. Let's talk. Got Detective Pikachu, children's movie, entertaining, simple story. It works overall. Ryan Reynolds is there to help the parents laugh their way through a movie that is very simple. The Sonic the Hedgehog movies, they're for kids. They are children's movies. Don't get me wrong. I think the Sonic the Hedgehog movies are pretty entertaining, and actually, I think they get better with each one in terms of being a Sonic the Hedgehog movie, anyways. But they are also kids' movies. And you know what? There's nothing inherently wrong about them being kids' movies. Okay, let's just be real about that for a minute. These are movies based on video games for kids. The kids like, the kids see, you know? Oh, by the way, I'm also going to give my thoughts on the Superman preview scene that was shown before a Minecraft movie. If you're interested in that, skip to the time down here. Let's talk about this movie here real quick. Okay, so the Minecraft movie, what do I have to say about it? Not a lot, actually, because it's the friggin' Minecraft movie. That's right, I'm not going to swear in this one because this is a children's movie. Children might be watching this review. I don't know. The point is, it's a kids' movie, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I'm just going to say it. Child Ruben would have liked this movie. Yep, I would have liked this movie. It has the right amount of child appropriate violence, the right amount of silly adult characters that I would care more about as a child than I would about the child characters. As a child, I really hated child characters. But the point is, Ruben, this movie has just enough adventure, just enough humor, and it keeps all of its emotional beats light enough that Child Ruben wouldn't have gotten annoyed with it. Because Child Ruben was frequently annoyed with, why are we having these emotional beats in this movie? Let's just get on to the adventure. The movie has those attempts at emotional beats or character conflicts, but it never lets itself get bogged down in them the way that adult movies do. You know what I'm talking about, kids. There's no romance here. No, we're not worried about anybody kissing anybody. Oh, it's all about the adventure and a love of creativity. In fact, that's actually the main character, or I should say, main child character's major trait is just that they're very creative and they like to design and invent stuff. And that's sort of the core message of the movie, that designing and creating stuff is cool and good. and that being a creative child is what you should want to be. And I'm here for that. I'm here for that. The movie is directed by Jared Hess, the man who made the Napoleon Dynamite movie, and also Nacho Libre. Both movies that are both funny and dumb. And you can pretty much watch them with most age children. Okay, so Nacho Libre does have that one scene where a guy gets stabbed in the eye with street corn. Maybe screen that one for your kids. But the point is that Jared Hess actually makes a lot of sense for this movie. And in fact, Jared Hess definitely put some Napoleon Dynamite DNA into this film. Now, in fairness, most of that DNA is contained within Jason Momoa, who kind of steals the movie. Jason Momoa's character is easily the most developed and in many ways the most interesting. And as a kid, I would have been rooting for him the whole fucking movie. Although as an adult, I also see the irony in exactly what type of person he is. Child Ruben, don't know if he would have got that. Whoop, no way to know now. But Jack Black's character is also very funny. In fact, actually, Jack Black and Jason Momoa are kind of carrying this movie when it comes to the humor. There are some other prominent characters in the movie as well. There are some other prominent characters in the movie as well. You, of course, have the kids, played by Henry, played by Sebastian Eugene Hansen. Never heard of him before, but he does a pretty good job for a character that is admittedly not deeply written. His sister, played by Emma Myers, plays Natalie, and she does a good job despite being not particularly developed. We know that she's in like a mother figure role, but she's also a kid, and her job is to be the one that's worried about things, and that's about as far as her character goes, really. Danielle Brooks is also in the movie. Normally big fan of her work. Love her in Peacemaker. Love her in Orange Is the New Black. Here she does an admirable job with a character that is once again not given a lot to do. The women are not given a lot to do, which the movie compensates for this by making the women the ones who are good at combat. It's an interesting trade-off. Not really sure. I mean, it doesn't make them better written. But the point is that they're there and they kind of serve a purpose. And yeah, no, this movie is primarily Jason Momoa and Jack Black. I mean, technically speaking, Sebastian also is given a lot of plot importance. But like, really, most of the comedy is coming from Jason Momoa and Jack Black as they 69 in the air. That sounded bad and possibly child inappropriate. If you're a child, don't ask your parents what that means. Don't ask them. Don't ask them what that means. The point is that there's a lot of Jason Momoa and Jack Black are pretty much carrying the film for the most part. It's a solid. I'm running out of things to say about a Minecraft movie. Minecraft movie also is loaded, and I do mean loaded to the gills with references about Minecraft. A lot of critics sort of seem to poo-poo the film as not being creative enough. I don't know what they wanted from a Minecraft movie. I don't know what they like. Do they think that there's a compelling world, like more creative, compelling storyline to be told about how this universe is essentially Legos? I don't know what critics wanted there. The film is light adventure fun for kids with some Jared Hess style humor to tide over the adults, and some amusing cameos by people like Jermaine Clement and Matt Berry. Also Kate McKinnon, supposedly. I don't know who she plays in it. Probably oh wait, is Kate McKinnon the bad guy? I don't know. Jennifer Coolidge is also in the film. There's a lot of people in the film, but like a lot of them are Minecraft characters. The film also features some famous YouTubers. Also, controversially, a famous YouTuber was apparently removed for the film because she called out Jason Momoa for being mean to the crew. That's a bad look, Warner Brothers. That's a bad look. You should not have taken her out. The point is, if I were going to be super hyper critical of what is a light, fun family entertainment piece, then I would probably say something like, I don't understand what's going on with Dennis. Like, I don't know if there was a scene that was deleted or whatnot, but the path of the character Dennis, who is a tamed wolf through the film, is a little bit confusing. Uh, he goes to the real world. We see a part where he goes into the cave, like he's gonna go back to the Minecraft world, but like it's at a point when the portal is closed, and then Daniel Brooks' character ends up taming what appears to be a feral wolf that then gets back a collar that says Dennis as soon as she tames him. And for a moment, I was like, wait, is every wolf in Minecraft named Dennis? And just so you know, I looked it up. They are not. So I would be lying to you if I said I knew what was going on with Dennis. That would be a lie. I don't know if there was like a deleted scene that would have explained the Dennis thing. Maybe it involved a cameo from that gamer girl that got cut out for speaking about Jason Momoa being a dick. I don't know. I genuinely do not know what's going on with Dennis. However, I don't know if I care. Like, it's a kids movie, so I don't understand what's going on with the wolf. Big deal. I would also say that, the characters have literally just enough character development. Just enough. Like the bare minimum of character development is put into this film. I mean, arguably they all eventually complete their arcs, but like they're not incredibly impressive arcs. Like Jason Momoa makes friends, Jack Black's character realizes it's okay for him to come back to the real world. Oh, these are spoilers. Henry gains confidence, and his sister starts a new, more creative job. Like it's not, it's not deep. None of it's deep. It's not deep. Minecraft is just a fun movie for kids. And if you're wanting more out of it, I don't know what to tell you. Minecraft fans apparently love the film. It delivers for them. So I feel kind of this way about this movie, about the way I feel about Five Nights at Freddy, another movie adaptation, video game movie adaptation that's been fairly successful because it is aimed at children. I know you're saying Five Nights at Freddy is a horror movie. Yes, but it's a PG-13 horror movie based on a game that was made famous for 7-year-olds playing it on their phone. My point is can we have a good adaptation of an adult video game? Time will tell. We've got 2 TV shows, but we have yet to make a good movie based on a video game for adults. Now, I know what you're saying. Ruben, what about all those Resident Evil movies that you seem to enjoy? Yeah, but I don't enjoy them because they're good. I enjoy them because they're fun. They're not like stunning cinema. They're like a poor man's Zack Snyder movie, which I'm here for. Don't get me wrong. What about the Mortal Kombat movies, Ruben? Mortal Kombat movies are entertaining, but flawed. Seriously, if that new Mortal Kombat movie could maintain being as cool as it was for the first 7 minutes, then that movie would be incredible. Too bad the best part of that movie is the first 7 minutes. So yeah, my review of a Minecraft movie. Do you got kids? Do they play Minecraft? If the answer to those questions was yes, they'll probably like this movie. But now some of you may have tuned in because of the Superman thing, and so let me share my thoughts on the Superman movie preview. Uh mixed. Mixed. Overall, I am still pretty optimistic about the Superman movie. I mean it, really. I am very optimistic about the Superman movie. I think the Superman movie looks promising. I think it I think that James Gunn has a general idea of what he wants to do. However, the major thing that I will say about it is that the preview told me why James Gunn felt it was necessary to reboot. And I'll get into that in a second. First, let's talk about the things I liked and didn't like about the preview. There's been a lot of controversy, a lot of nitpicking of this preview. And I do think that there is some things to criticize. For starters, I didn't, and maybe it'll be better in context. Maybe it'll be better in the context of the full film, but I didn't really care for the sequence where Crypto is just jumping on Superman, even though he is clearly very injured. I mean, I get it. I see what you're doing, James Gunn. And maybe it's funnier in the context of the broader picture, but like, it just felt like a waste of my time for that bit. Like, totally, I didn't care for it. But like, I put up with more annoying things, even from James Gunn. Like, it's not like it was a poop joke. Looking at you, first 10 minutes of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, actually a really good movie after you get past the first 10 or 15 minutes of it. So I didn't care for that, but I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt that in context, maybe that'll be set up better, and like the full movie, it'll work. Don't know. Haven't seen the full movie yet. A lot of people up online are upset about the robots, and I gotta be honest, I am not. I dig it. I'm digging it. I see what they're going with it. It's definitely a very much more all-star Superman vibe that he's going for, which actually brings me to the major point that I feel is worth noting about this Superman preview. I get now why James Gunn wanted to reboot. Now, so for starters, let's talk about two things. A lot of people are drawing comparisons between this and Man of Steel. And I understand why, but there are some important things about that we should consider. They are very different types of stories in more ways than one. For starters, and like full disclosure, I'm a Snyder bro. I love Zack Snyder's movies. I dig what he does with them. I think that Zack Snyder's Justice League is one of the greatest comic book movies ever made. I'll just throw that out there. I love Zack Snyder. I'd love to see him complete his Snyderverse, all that stuff. Man of Steel is a grounded origin story. Like, for starters, it's a movie produced by Christopher Nolan and written by David Goyer and Jonathan Nolan. It was always going to be a grounded take on Superman. It just was. And so that movie is grounded. So it's, even though it is fantastical sci-fi, they try to make it as real and down to earth as possible, which is actually, I think, why a lot of people don't care for it. A lot of people were upset with the choices that were made to ground the film. Specifically, the film itself also most accurately maps onto early Golden Age Superman. Specifically, one controversial element of the movie, of course, was Pa Kent's fear that his son would be essentially persecuted for being this alien figure, this super powerful demi-human, if you will. And that is from the comics. The original Schuster and Siegel comic featured this panel here where Pa Kent says basically that. The idea of Superman using his powers as a teenager is actually something that didn't come into the comics until the adventures of Superboy during the Silver Age.
Quick edit here. I said Silver Age, and that is not correct. Superboy was originally published in 1945. It's actually a very interesting, complicated story about the creation of the character and the concept of him. The point still stands, though, that this is something that was not originally part of his continuity. The idea of him using his powers as a child was something that came after his initial conception by about 6 years. For technical accuracy, this is important.
In fact, prior to that, it was generally speaking the idea that Superman kept himself secret and only did things from the shadows and was generally trying to avoid detection was a major part of his mythology, kind of. Specifically, in these older stories. Specifically, like if you're listening to the Superman radio show where he is trying to avoid detection, if you are, or the early Superman comics. Essentially, Man of Steel is about Superman's coming out, Superman revealing himself to the world, and then BVS is essentially how does the world react to that realization. And these choices that were made in the storytelling were not popular among everyone because of a reason. You see, Batman and Superman are characters where we really only want the smallest understanding of their origins. So much of what people have come to love about Batman and Superman rely on the fuller picture of Batman and Superman, which is what James Gunn is going for. James Gunn in this preview has already established elements that in the comics took literal decades for Superman to develop. All-Star Superman, one of the things that allows that comic book to be so great is because it is not focusing on a specific point in time of Superman, but instead allowing itself to bring together as many of the fundamental elements of Superman as it can into a perfect sort of pastiche. This is a very different way to tell a story from the way that Man of Steel did. And in many ways, that is probably why Man of Steel had trouble appealing to many Superman fans whose favorite things about Superman would take movie upon movie upon movie to eventually bring into the story based on the way that that story was written and based on the way that that universe was starting to develop itself. Now, you might say, but Ruben, that's kind of what the MCU did. The MCU starts us off small and doesn't give us the whole picture of all these superheroes right away. And you are correct. The MCU builds things piece by piece. And there's nothing wrong with that either. What I'm telling you, though, is that Superman and Batman fans aren't looking for that. The best parts of Superman and Batman come from over 80 years of continuity. People want to see the refined version. Zack Snyder didn't give us the refined version. Zack Snyder gave us the origin story. He gave us the reaction to the origin story. He gave us a journey that he had essentially helped craft with his writers over the course of a series of movies. It was never going to be able to give us what James Gunn is going to give us by choosing to do his story in a pre-established world. This is refined Superman. This is elements of the Superman story that he's been able to collectively take from numerous points in continuity and bring them to this one point by not worrying about setting up the prior establishment. Now, the question is, will this work for mainstream audiences? Do mainstream audiences who are not these hardcore comic book fans who want that refined image, can they get on board without being spoon-fed a universe like the MCU? Well, we'll have to see. We will have to see. I want to be clear. I don't have a problem with either of these approaches that either Zack Snyder or James Gunn is going with. These are both completely valid storytelling choices. The question of choosing to do one of these types of storytelling moves is not, does it work or is it good, but like, what does the film as a whole function? Like I said, neither of these approaches is inherently better than the other one. So yes, I continue to be cautiously optimistic about Superman. I think that it has a lot of potential. A lot of people are complaining about the robots, even though, like, honestly, the major things that people are complaining about the robots, I'm like, that's just basic storytelling. I mean, obviously, we've seen the trailer. He's crying as he's holding a dead robot. Like, he's literally holding a dead robot in his arms. Like, it's clear that the thing the robot says about them just being emotionless automatons, it's clear that that is meant to not be true, just so everyone knows. Like, that's not really bad writing. That's just a choice and how it wants to tell a certain aspect of its story. As for the sunlight hurting Superman, let's just address that. So a lot of people have compared this to Superman absorbing the sunlight in the Snyder movies. Now, it's worth noting several things about this that kind of explain most of the major differences. In BVS, Superman is unconscious when he is absorbing the sunlight after he tanks the nuke. He is unconscious for that and does not regain consciousness until he has regained a certain amount of that sunlight. Second of all the major healing to Superman's body was in Zack Snyder's Justice League is done by the Mother Box. The most painful parts of his resurrection were done instantaneously by this alien technology. When we see him fly into the atmosphere to absorb the sun, he is not recovering from all of his injuries. He is merely recharging his battery. It would be weird if that were painful. In the James Gunn preview that we've seen so far, Superman has been confirmed to have numerous internal injuries and broken bones. They are also using a magnifier to increase the intensity of the amount of sun that he's absorbing, which comic books have shown us that is not always the more intense the radiation he's absorbing is not always pleasant. But you have to also understand that he is actively feeling his bones get reset in this moment. Now you could argue that as his powers kick in, he would feel less pain, but he would still initially feel a lot of pain. These are not worthwhile things to get upset about. These are nitpicks. We are nitpicking. Y'all nitpicking. Picking the nits. Okay? This is nothing. All right, so those are my thoughts on a Minecraft movie and the Superman preview. I want to thank you for tuning into this. Please like and subscribe. Maybe ring that bell if you're on YouTube. Also, you can contact the program at rubenuncut@gmail.com. Yeah, thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful whatever, wherever, whoever you are. Wait, what the? How did that get there? What the